The screen door of the Bluebonnet Diner slammed shut like a judge's gavel, but it was the whisper that cut deepest. Look at her. Thinks she can just waltz in here like she owns the damn place. London's boots echoed on the cracked linoleum as every head in the joint swiveled her way, the air thick with the sizzle of burgers and unspoken judgments. She felt their stares like sandpaper on her skin, but she straightened her shoulders, slid into a booth by the window and ordered black coffee, strong enough to burn away the dust of the long drive from Austin. West Texas stretched out beyond the grease-streaked glass like a faded postcard. Endless flatlands baked under a merciless sun, dotted with oil derricks nodding like weary old men. The Bluebonnet was the kind of place that hadn't changed since Eisenhower was in office. Red vinyl seats patched with duct tape, a jukebox crooning Patsy Cline, and a crowd of ranch hands and roughnecks who treated outsiders like trespassers. London knew the type. She'd grown up dodging their kind in small towns just like Marfa, where the horizon mocked your dreams as much as the locals did. But today she wasn't here to dream. She was here to buy. The waitress approached with a pot in hand, her name tag reading Lily in faded script. She was in her late 20s, with curls escaping her ponytail like rebellious thoughts, and eyes that held a flicker of something softer than the diner's fluorescent glare. "Coffee, ma'am?" Lily asked, pouring without waiting for a nod. Her voice steady but her gaze darting to the booth in the corner where the whispers had started. "Yeah, thanks. And a slice of that pecan pie if it's not too sweet." London met her eyes, offering a small smile that didn't quite reach her own. Lily nodded, a ghost of a grin tugging at her lips before she retreated to the counter, where the cook, a burly guy named Hank with a mustache like a broom bristle, muttered something that made the corner booth erupt in low chuckles. It started small, the way these things always did in places like this. A sideways glance from the trucker at the counter. His cap pulled low over eyes narrowed an appraisal of London's buzzed sides and the rainbow pin glinting on her denim jacket. Then the whispers grew teeth. "City girl, huh? Bet she drives one of them electric cars that can't make it past the county line." The group in the booth, 3 men in faded Wranglers, nursing beers despite the early hour, leaned in, their voices carrying just enough to sting. London sipped her coffee, the bitterness grounding her. She'd come 200 miles west from her corner office in Austin, where boardrooms bowed to her spreadsheets and her identity was just another line item on a diversity report. Here, though, it was raw, unfiltered, like the wind that rattled the diner's windows. She wasn't naive. She'd scouted this place online, the Bluebonnet chain's forgotten outpost, ripe for a turnaround. But she hadn't expected the welcome wagon to be a parade of prejudice. "Darlin', you sure you ain't lost?" one of the booth guys called out, his drawl dripping with false concern. He was the ringleader, mid-40s, with a gut straining his pearl snap shirt and a wedding ring dulled by years of neglect. "This ain't exactly your scene." His buddies snickered, one adding, "Yeah, we don't get many of your type round here. Unless you're filmin' one of them woke Hollywood movies." The word type hung in the air like smoke from Hank's grill, and London felt her pulse quicken. Not with fear, but with that old familiar fire. She'd built her career on swallowing it down, turning slights into fuel for multimillion-dollar deals. But today, with the weight of her proposal folder in her lap, it burned hotter. Lily hovered at the edge of the counter, wiping the same spot over and over, her knuckles white on the rag. She shot London an apologetic glance, mouthing sorry before the ringleader, whose name she'd later learn was Roy, waved her over. "Hey Lil, pour us another round. And tell your friend there we got a church social coming up if she needs savate." The diner fell into that awkward hush where everyone pretends not to listen. London set her mug down with deliberate calm, her voice cutting through like a knife through pie crust. "Actually, I'm right where I need to be. But thanks for the invite. I'll pass on the saving. Got enough grace in my own tank." The booth exploded in laughter, mean and jagged, Roy slapping the table hard enough to rattle the salt shakers. "Grace? Honey, you need a whole damn tanker." Lily flinched, turning away to fetch the pie, but not before London caught the flush creeping up her neck. Embarrassment or something deeper? She ate her pie in silence, the pecans crunching like brittle bones under her fork. The mockery ebbed into murmurs, but it lingered, a stain on the air. When Lily dropped off the check, her hand brushed London's. Just a graze, but enough to spark something electric. "On the house," Lily whispered, sliding the ticket back and signed. "For puttin' up with them." London looked up, really looked, and saw the weariness in Lily's eyes. The way her smile didn't quite fit. Appreciate it. Name's London, by the way. Lily. A pause, then softer. You leavin' town soon? Depends. London tucked a 20 under her mug anyway. On whether this pie's worth sticking around for. Lily's laugh was small, like a secret shared in church pews. But as London pushed through the door into the relentless sun, the laughter from the booth followed her like a shadow. She climbed into her Jeep, the engine roaring to life with a defiance that matched her own. Her phone buzzed. A text from her assistant. Offer accepted. Closing tomorrow. She stared at the diner in the rearview, its sign swinging lazily. They had no idea. Hours from now, she'd walk back through that door not as a guest, but as the one holding the deed. Back inside, Lily cleared London's booth, pocketing the 20 with a guilty thrill. Roy's voice boomed from the counter. What did you charge the dyke, Lil? Extra for the rainbow sprinkles. His buddies howled and Lily forced a chuckle, the sound hollow in her chest. She'd grown up in Marfa, served plates to the same faces since high school, dreaming of escape but tethered by her mama's medical bills and a town that chewed up dreamers. London, that name alone sounded like freedom, like the city she'd only seen on TV. As she busied herself with the dishes, Lily wondered if she'd ever have the guts to chase it. Outside, the wind picked up, whipping dust across the lots like a warning. London gripped the wheel tighter, the sting of their words fueling her resolve. This wasn't just business anymore. It was personal, a chance to rewrite the script one booth at a time. By sundown, the bluebonnet wouldn't just be hers. It'd be a reckoning. The afternoon dragged like molasses in January. Lily clocked out at 3, her apron smelling of grease and regret, and headed to her shift at the feed store down the block. Marfa was the kind of town where everyone knew your sins before you committed them, where the annual chili cook-off doubled as gossip central, and the local paper still printed birth announcements alongside coyote sightings. Lily's own secrets were buried deep. The letters she'd written to her high school crush, Emma, and burned in a coffee can. The way she'd linger over women's catalogs at the library, heart pounding like a jackrabbit. She'd spotted it in London immediately. The quiet confidence, the unapologetic way she took up space. It stirred something in Lily she'd long tried to ignore. A warmth that bloomed low and insistent. But wanting was dangerous here. Last year, old Mrs. Hargrove had run the only out gal in town out of her beauty shop with a broom and Bible verses. Lily couldn't afford to be next. By evening, the diner hummed with the supper rush. Roy held court at his usual booth, regaling the crowd with his tale of the funny business lady who dared sass him. Swear to God, she looked at me like I was the one with horns. City folk ruinin' everything pure. Hank nodded from the grill, flipping patties with a spatula that had seen better decades. The new owner, Mr. Ellis, was due back from Dallas any minute, his beat-up Ford a fixture in the lot. He'd been talking buyout for months, the chain bleeding cash from corporate cuts. The bell jingled and in walked Ellis, not alone. Flanking him was a woman in a crisp pantsuit, her dark hair catching the light like polished obsidian. London. The diner went still, forks hovering mid-air. Roy's laugh died in his throat as London stepped forward, her voice steady as West Texas granite. Ladies and gentlemen, she said, scanning the room with eyes that missed nothing, I'm London Hale. And as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, I'm your new owner. The silence shattered like glass under boot heels. Roy's face drained of color, his beer mug slipping from numb fingers. Lily, midway through pouring tea for a family in the back, froze, the pot trembling in her grip. London's gaze found hers across the room, a spark of shared secret in the midst of the storm. This was no coincidence. This was the pie worth sticking around for. Chaos erupted in slow motion, the kind that happens when a dust devil tears through a quiet street, sudden, disorienting, and impossible to ignore. Roy was the first to recover, shoving back from his booth with a scrape that set teeth on edge. The hell is this? Some kind of joke? His voice boomed, drawing nods from his cronies, but Ellis just cleared his throat, looking anywhere but at the room. Not a joke, Roy, the old man muttered, handing over a manila envelope like it was a live wire. Sold the whole chain, bluebonnets under new management. Miss Hale here's got big plans. London took the envelope, her movements precise, like she'd rehearsed this in a mirror 100 times. But inside, her heart hammered against her ribs, the echoes of the morning's slurs replaying like a bad loop. She wasn't here for revenge, not exactly. This was reclamation, a chance to turn a relic of resentment into something real. A diner where folks like her, like Lily, could breathe easy. Still, as Roy's glare bored into her, she felt the weight of every small-town scar she'd carried since she was 16. Plans. Roy spat, stepping closer, his belly brushing the counter. The other patrons shifted uneasily. Farmers and families who'd come for meatloaf, not melodrama. Lady, you don't know jack about running a place like this. We got traditions. Ways things are done. London met his eyes, unflinching. Traditions like mocking customers? Yeah, I caught that show this morning. Consider this your notice. That ends today. Her words landed like punches, and a murmur rippled through the crowd. Hank's spatula clattered against the grill. A teenage busboy vanished into the kitchen. Ellis mumbled something about paperwork and bolted for the door, leaving London alone in the lion's den. She straightened, channeling the boardroom poise that had closed deals with Fortune 500 sharks. I'm not here to upend your lives. I'm here to save them. This place was hemorrhaging money. Corporate was gonna shutter it by spring. But under me, we're expanding the menu, fixing the roof, maybe even adding outdoor seating for those star parties Marfa's famous for. The room hung in limbo, a standoff between old guard and new blood. Lily set her pot down with a soft clink, her pulse racing as she edged toward the counter. Up close, London looked even more striking. Fine lines around her eyes speaking of late nights and hard-won wisdom. A faint scar on her jaw from a childhood tumble off a horse. Lily had always had a weakness for women who wore their stories like armor. Can I get you anything, ma'am, Miss Hale? Lily asked, her voice threading through the tension like a lifeline. London's gaze softened, a private nod acknowledging the morning's kindness. Coffee, black. And call me London. The simple exchange cracked the ice, and a few patrons exhaled, resuming their meals with wary glances. Roy hovered, fuming, but slunk back to his booth when London turned her attention to the envelope, pulling out glossy renderings of a revamped bluebonnet, vibrant murals, farm-to-table specials, a pride flag subtle in the window design. As the evening wore on, London worked the room like a pro, shaking hands with the locals who approached, her laugh genuine when old Mrs. Ramirez complimented her boots. Lived here 60 years, the woman said, patting London's arm. You keep that spirit, Mija, and we'll be fine. But not everyone thawed. Roy nursed his beer, shooting daggers, and whispered to his pals about woke takeovers ruining real America. Lily brought London's coffee, lingering a beat longer than necessary. That took guts, she murmured, sliding the mug across. Walking in like that. London wrapped her hands around the warmth, studying Lily, the way her apron hugged curves earned from double shifts, the faint calluses on her fingers from years of pouring and plating. Guts or stupidity? Jury's out. She paused, tilting her head. You stuck around after this morning. Why? Lily shrugged, a flush warming her cheeks. Ain't right what they did. And you seem like you could handle it. More than most. Their eyes held, a current humming between them stronger than the diner's faulty wiring. For a moment, the world narrowed to that booth. London's quiet strength, Lily's tentative spark. Then Roy's chair scraped again, shattering it. Hey boss lady, you plannin' on hirin' a bunch of your girlfriends to flip burgers? That the big plan? The diner tensed anew, forks pausing. London's jaw tightened, but before she could fire back, Lily whirled on him, her voice sharp as shattered glass. Roy, that's enough. You wanna eat here, you keep a civil tongue. Or take your sorry ass to the truck stop. Silence, profound and electric. Roy blinked, mouth agape, as chuckles bubbled from unexpected corners. Even Hank grunted approval from the pass-through. London watched, impressed, as Lily stood her ground, chin lifted like she'd been waiting her whole life for this. Roy muttered a curse and stormed out, the bell jangling his exit. The room exhaled collectively, and London raised her mug in a silent toast. To new beginnings, she said softly, just for Lily. By closing time, the initial shock had mellowed into cautious curiosity. London locked up with the keys Ellis had left, the weight of them foreign in her palm. Lily lingered by the door, untying her apron. You need help settling in? Got a spare room at my place if the motel flakes. The offer hung, innocent on the surface but laced with possibility. London hesitated. Boundaries were her business armor, but the loneliness of hotel nights won out. I'd like that. Thanks. They drove in tandem through Marfa's dark streets, London's Jeep trailing Lily's ancient pickup. The town slept under a blanket of stars, the McDonald Observatory's glow faint on the horizon. Lily's bungalow was a modest adobe affair, porch light buzzing like a beacon. Inside it smelled of lavender soap and fresh-baked cornbread, a far cry from the diner's fry oil. Make yourself at home, Lily said, flipping on lamps that cast golden pools across mismatched furniture. A thrift store sofa, bookshelves sagging with dog-eared romances and poetry. London sank into the cushions, exhaustion crashing over her like a wave. This place. It's you, she said, gesturing vaguely. Warm. Real. Lily busied herself with tea, but her hands shook slightly. Grew up here. Mama passed last year, cancer. It's just me and the ghosts now. She handed over a mug, settling on the adjacent chair, knees brushing London's. The air thickened, charged with unsaid things. I'm sorry, London murmured. Lost my dad young. To the bottle mostly. Taught me to keep moving though. Never look back. Lily nodded, tracing the mug's rim. That's brave. Me? I'm stuck. Always have been. Not stuck, London countered gently. You stood up to Roy tonight. That's not nothing. Their gazes locked again, deeper this time, the space between them shrinking. Lily's breath caught as London's fingers grazed her wrist. Accidental, then not. London, I. But the words faltered, drowned in the pull of what simmered beneath. The kiss, when it came, was tentative. A brush of lips like testing desert rain. Soft, searching, it unfolded with the slowness of trust earned over coffee and courage. Lily tasted of chamomile and hidden longings. London of resolve and the faint salt of earlier tears unshed. They parted breathless, foreheads touching, the world outside forgotten. I shouldn't, Lily started, but London silenced her with a thumb to her lips. You should. We both should. That night they talked until dawn crested the horizon. Stories spilling like confessions. London's rise from a trailer park kid to real estate mogul, fueled by scholarships and sheer will. Lily's quiet rebellions. Secret sketches of women in flowing dresses, hidden in a shoebox under her bed. By the time sleep claimed them, curled on the sofa under a shared quilt, the first threads of something profound had woven between them. But dawn brought reality. Roy's truck idled outside the diner when they arrived, his face a thundercloud. Heard you two got cozy, he sneered as they passed. Figures. Lily bristled, but London laid a hand on her arm. Let him talk. Words are cheap. Inside she dove into changes. Inventory audits, menu tweaks, painting crews scheduled. The staff grumbled, Hank especially loyal to Ellis, but Lily became her quiet ally, smoothing feathers with her easy charm. Weeks blurred into a rhythm. Mornings at the diner, London's vision taking shape. Vegan options nodding to Austin trends, local art on the walls. Evenings at Lily's where kisses deepened into explorations of heart and home. Hands mapping scars, whispers unraveling fears. London felt roots stirring, dangerous in their tenderness. Lily, for the first time, dreamed of more than survival. Yet cracks formed. Whispers of sabotage. Orders mixed up, supplies vanishing. Roy's shadow loomed, his grudge festering like an untended wound. And then the betrayal, sharp, unforeseen. One rainy Tuesday, London found a note slipped under the office door. She's playing you. Ask about the feed store. Scrawled in familiar script. Lily's. Heart in her throat, London confronted her that night, the rain lashing the windows like accusations. What's this mean? Lily's face crumpled, the truth tumbling out. A desperate loan from Roy's brother at the bank, collateral on the house. He cornered me, said if I didn't spy, he'd foreclose. I never told him anything real. London, please. The words sliced deep, trust fracturing like dry earth. London pulled away, the warmth of their nights turning cold. I thought we were building something. Not this. She stormed into the storm, Jeep tires spinning gravel, leaving Lily sobbing on the porch. Back in Austin the next day, board meetings blurred into numbness. The diner reports piled up. Revenues up but morale tanking. Roy's crew had rallied, walkouts looming. And beneath it all, the ache of Lily's face, tear-streaked and pleading. Austin's skyline loomed like a chrome promise, all glass towers and river views, but London saw only mirages. Her penthouse condo echoed with emptiness, the king-sized bed a battlefield of rumpled sheets where Lily's ghost lingered in every fold. She'd thrown herself into work. Acquisitions, expansions, the kind of deals that once lit her up like fireworks. Now they tasted like ash. The Bluebonnets' weekly emails from the interim manager painted a grim picture. Boycotts from Roy's crowd, Yelp reviews laced with venom, revenues dipping like the mercury before a blue norther. She'd cut Lily off cold. No calls, no texts, the silence a wall she'd built brick by bitter brick. Betrayal wasn't new. Her ex in college had outed her to the dean for a laugh, derailing scholarships. But this? It stung deeper because Lily had felt like home. The kind you didn't know you were missing until it slipped away. 2 weeks in, a package arrived at her office. A sketchpad bound in leather worn soft as a prayer. Inside, Lily's drawings, women with eyes like London's, landscapes of Marfa under impossible skies. Tucked between pages, a letter in looping script. I never meant to hurt you. Roy's lies trapped me, but my heart was always yours. Forgive me or don't, but know I see you, all of you, and it's beautiful. London's throat tightened, tears blurring the ink. She wanted to crumple it, to burn it like Lily's old letters. Instead, she booked a flight to El Paso, then drove the last leg, the high desert unfolding like an apology. Marfa greeted her with a chill wind, the diner's neon sign flickering defiantly against the dusk. Inside, the place had frayed. Booths empty save for a lone trucker nursing coffee, Hank's grill cold for the first time in memory. Lily was there, though wiping counters with mechanical precision, her curls limp, eyes hollowed by sleepless nights. She looked up as the bell jingled, freezing like a deer in headlights. London. The name escaped as a whisper, laced with hope and hurt. No anger, just raw vulnerability that twisted the knife. We need to talk. London's voice was steadier than she felt, gesturing to the office. A cramped space smelling of old ledgers and lemon polish. Lily followed, closing the door softly, as if afraid to shatter the fragile peace. The confrontation spilled out in fits and starts. Lily's confession of the loan, how Roy had leveraged her mama's debts like a noose. He promised to drop it if I fed him scraps. Menu ideas, nothing about you. But I couldn't. The first time he pushed, I told him to shove it. That's when the real trouble started. London paced the narrow room, arms crossed like armor. And you didn't tell me? After everything. After I opened up about my dad, about running scared for years. Tears welled in Lily's eyes, spilling over. I was ashamed. Grew up hearing voices like Roy's in my head, telling me I'm weak, that wanting you makes me broken. I thought if I handled it alone, it'd protect us. Stupid, I know. The word us hung heavy, a bridge half burned. London stopped pacing, sinking into the creaky desk chair. It wasn't just the spying. It was the lie. I came here thinking I could change things, make a space where folks like me don't have to hide. And you made me believe in it. In us. Lily knelt then, impulsive, her hands hovering before clasping London's knees. You did change it. Even now with the boycotts, folks are coming back. Mrs. Ramirez brings her quilting circle, says your pie tweaks are a taste of heaven. And me? You've changed me, London. Showed me I can stand tall, even when the wind howls. Their eyes met, the air thick with unspoken pleas. London cupped Lily's face, thumbs brushing away tears, the touch igniting embers thought extinguished. I missed you, she admitted, voice cracking. Every damn day. The kiss was fiercer this time, born of famine, a clash of lips and longing, hands tangling in hair and fabric. It poured out the fear, the fury, the fragile faith rebuilding between them. When they broke apart, gasping, Lily rested her forehead against London's. Don't leave again. Fight with me. London nodded, resolve hardening. Together then. They emerged from the office hand in hand, the gesture a quiet declaration. The trucker at the counter raised an eyebrow but said nothing, tipping his hat as he paid. Word spread fast in Marfa. By morning, the parking lot held a tentative crowd, curiosity outweighing caution. But Roy wasn't done. He rallied his posse at the feed store, where Lily still pulled shifts, his rhetoric a venomous sermon. That woman's turning our diner into some liberal experiment. Next thing, she'll be hosting drag shows on the counter. Laughter, ugly and unified, but cracks showed. Some nodded, others shifted uncomfortably, remembering London's firm handshakes and fair wages. The sabotage escalated. Tires slashed on the delivery truck. Anonymous calls to suppliers. London installed cameras, beefed up security, but the toll mounted. Sleepless nights bled into dawn patrols. Lily's worry lines deepening like arroyos after rain. Their love, once a refuge, strained under the siege. Arguments flaring over risks, trust tested anew. One night, after a particularly brutal shift where Roy had led a walkout of half the regulars, they sat on Lily's porch, stars wheeling overhead like indifferent witnesses. Maybe I was wrong to push so hard, London murmured, her head on Lily's shoulder. This town's got roots deeper than mine. Can't just yank him up. Lily turned, cupping London's chin. You didn't yank. You watered. Look, Hank stayed today, even flipped a burger with extra love for that vegan patty. And me? I came out to Mama's old church group last week. Told them about you. Some clutched pearls, but others. They hugged me. Pride swelled in London's chest, mingling with awe. You're braver than you know. No, Lily said softly, tracing London's jaw. We're brave. Together. The turning point came unannounced. A Friday eve when thunderheads piled like grudges on the horizon. Roy burst through the door mid-rush, face flushed with whiskey and wrath, a crowbar dangling from his fist, not raised but menacing. This ends now, Hale. You and your abominations ain't welcome. The diner hushed, plates clattering to stillness. Lily stepped forward, blocking London's path, her voice a whip crack. Roy, you've had your say. Now get out before I call the sheriff. But Roy lunged, not at them but at the counter, smashing a cash register and a spray of keys and coins. Chaos bloomed. Screams overturned chairs. London shoved Lily behind her, heart thundering as Hank emerged from the kitchen, rolling pin in hand like a scepter. Enough, Roy. You've terrorized this place long enough. The room shifted then, a tide turning. Mrs. Ramirez stood, her walker steady. Roy, sit your fool self down. Miss Hales treated us fair. Better than Ellis ever did. Murmurs swelled to a chorus. The trucker vouching for London's coffee runs to his rig. The busboy admitting she'd covered his tuition gap. Roy faltered, crowbar dropping with a clang. His bluster crumbling under the weight of communal will. Defeated, he backed toward the door. Eyes darting like a cornered coyote. Y'all'll regret this. Town like this don't change. It just did, London said quietly, not triumphantly, but with the steady calm of someone who'd stared down worse. Sheriff's lights flashed soon after. Roy hauled away in cuffs for vandalism and threats. The cleanup was communal, patrons mopping spills, Hank restocking the grill. As the storm broke outside, rain sheeting the windows, London and Lily shared a look across the floor. Weary, wondrous, woven tighter. In the quiet aftermath, with the diner empty and scrubbed clean, they locked up side by side. Driving back to Lily's, the wipers swiping rhythm like a heartbeat, London reached for her hand. I love you, she said, the words simple, seismic. Lily squeezed back, tears mingling with rain on her cheeks. Love you too. Always. The reckoning's echo lingered through summer swelter, Marfa transforming in subtle strokes. The Bluebonnet Diner bloomed under London's touch. Walls repainted sage green, evoking the high plains. A chalkboard specials menu boasting prickly pear margaritas and jackfruit tacos alongside the classics. Roy's trial was a quiet affair. Community service at the food bank, his barstool forever empty. Whispers persisted, but they softened, curiosity edging out contempt. Folks who'd crossed the street now crossed paths, drawn by the diner's new hum. A place of second chances, where the jukebox spun Dolly Parton next to Billie Holiday. London and Lily's love deepened in the margins. Stolen kisses in the walk-in cooler, lazy Sundays tracing constellations from Lily's roof. But it wasn't fairy tale smooth. Scars don't fade overnight. London grappled with vulnerability, her instinct to bolt warring with the anchor of Lily's touch. Lily, unlearning decades of silence, faltered in crowds, once freezing mid-shift when a customer sneered ladies' love. Her retort a stammered defense until London's steady hand steadied her. One August evening as cicadas chorused the heat, the climax crusted unbidden. London had pitched the chain's relaunch to investors via video from the diner, the screen glowing amid pie tins and coffee rings. "This isn't just a flip," she told the Suits in Chicago. "It's a story of resilience reinvention." West Texas heart with Austin edge. Lily watched from the counter, pride swelling like yeast in dough. The call ended triumphant. Funding secured, expansions greenlit. But as London stepped out for air, buzzing with victory, she found Lily in the lot, arguing with a shadow. Her ex, Tommy, a lanky feed store hand with eyes soured by rejection. "You think you can parade around with her, Lil? Make a fool of me, of us." Tommy's voice cracked, betrayal's bitter fruit. He'd proposed once, ring bought on credit, blind to Lily's deflections. Now post coming out he saw only slight. Lily held firm but her voice wavered. "Tommy, it was never about you. I was hiding from myself. London's. She's real." London emerged then, the screen doors slam a punctuation. "Everything okay?" Her tone was even but her stance protective, a subtle shift between Lily and the man. Tommy whirled, face twisting. This you're doing? Turning her into whatever you are." The words landed like hail, sharp and stinging. Lily flinched, old doubts surfacing. "Am I enough? Does my love damn us?" London felt it too, the familiar coil of rage, but she breathed through it, channeling the humanism she'd come to cherish. "Tommy, hurting her doesn't unbreak your heart. Walk away. Heal." He lunged, not violently but in blind flail, shoving London against the Jeep. Pain bloomed in her shoulder, but she didn't strike back, just held his gaze. "This ain't you," she said softly. "The man who loves Lily wouldn't do this." Lily stepped in, pulling Tommy back with surprising strength. "Go, Tommy. Please." Tears streaked her face, not fear but sorrow, for the boy she'd dated in shadows, for the pain she'd unwittingly sown. He crumpled then, shoulders slumping, mumbling apologies as he stumbled to his truck. The engine roared away, taillights fading into the dusk. London sagged against the vehicle, wincing, but Lily was there, arms enveloping, whispers soothing. "You all right?" Bruised ego more than anything. London managed a wry smile, but her eyes shone with unshed emotion. "God, Lil, I almost lost it. Wanted to deck him, prove something." Lily cupped her face, fierce. "You proved more by not. That's strength, real quiet power. Like you." They sank to the gravel, backs to the warm hood, the desert night enfolding them. Stars pricked the sky, vast and validating. "I used to think love was conquest," London confessed, head on Lily's lap. "Win the deal, claim the prize. But this you would surrender. Beautiful, terrifying surrender." Lily stroked her hair, voice thick. "Terrifying for me too. Thought I'd always be the girl dreamin' from the sidelines. But with you I step in. We step together." The moment stretched, cathartic, the conflict's embers cooling into wisdom. No grand gestures, just two women under infinity, weaving wounds into wholeness. Humanistic, yes, in its messy grace, affirming that change isn't erasure but evolution. That hearts like towns bend toward light when tended with care. Fall arrived with cottonwoods turning gold. The diner hosting its first Pride potluck. A modest affair, rainbow streamers fluttering beside chilly crocs. Locals mingled. Mrs. Ramirez sharing tamales, Hank grumbling but grinning over his brisket. Tommy even showed, sober and sheepish, offering a nod to London that spoke volumes. London spoke too, mic in hand, her voice carrying over the hum. "I came here mocked, measured, found wanting. But you y'all taught me grace isn't given, it's grown. In booths and backrooms, in hard talks and harder loves. This diner's ours now. So's the future." Cheers rose, genuine, glasses clinking like toasts to tomorrow. Lily beside her squeezed her hand, partner not shadow. Their eyes met, a lifetime promised in the glance. Road trips to Austin art shows, quiet adoptions of rescue dogs, perhaps a ring under those same stars. As the night wound down they danced slow on the makeshift floor. Patsy crooning "I Fall to Pieces." Ironic, an apartment London's shoulder ached faintly, a reminder, but Lily's warmth erased it. "Happy," Lily murmured into her neck. "Whole," London replied. "Finally." In West Texas, where winds whisper secrets and horizons mock the small, they carved a space unmocked. A love story not of perfection but persistence. Human, heartfelt, eternally theirs. Epilogue whispers. Years on, the Bluebonnet thrives, a chain link in a legacy of inclusion. London and Lily? Married under observatory lights. Their home a bungalow expanded with laughter and light. Roy finds redemption in AA meetings, Tommy in therapy and tentative friendships. Life, dramatic and tender, unfolds, not without storms, but with the strength to weather them together.